Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, Railside Tales, Episode 1, Thomas and a School Trip. Thomas is a little blue tank engine who enjoys working on the island of Sodor. Even though he's a tank engine, Thomas loves feeling like a really useful engine. One day, Sir Topham Hatt came to see Thomas. "I have a very important job for you," he boomed. "An important job, sir?" "Oh, thank you, sir," cried Thomas. "You are to take some school children down to Shen Valley," said the Topham Hatt. "You must make sure they have a great time and are back in time for their lunch." "Yes, sir," puffed Thomas, but he was worried. He wasn't sure he was great enough to give the children a special trip. When Thomas rolled into Knapford Station, the children and their teacher were waiting on the platform. "How am I going to make the children's day really special?" he said to Henry. "You know Shen Valley better than any engine," said Henry. But Thomas wasn't sure that his best was going to make the day exciting. He felt like a really little engine indeed. So Topham Hatt told Thomas's driver to stop and point out all the sights along the line to Shen Valley. "Here's the Sodor windmill," called Thomas's driver. "It's very special and important." "Ooh," said the children from Annie and Clarabelle. Thomas had seen the windmill multiple times before. He didn't think it was special or important. "Here's the viaduct," said Thomas's driver. "And here's the forest view." Wow. Thomas was still unhappy. The trip didn't seem wonderful to him at all. Must be special, he puffed. Meanwhile, Edward was working on the old Rocky line. Heavy rains had washed the soil away from under the track. "These tracks are too bumpy and uneven," said the foreman. "The line will have to be closed down until it gets repaired." Must be special. Thomas was still trying to think of a way to make the children's trip special. He didn't know the linesman had forgotten to switch the points. Suddenly, Thomas was on the wrong track. "Oh no! This line's closed for repairs. Cinders and ashes," he chuffed. "Be careful," cried Edward. "The tracks are very bumpy." Thomas whooshed through the valley like a roller coaster. The children cheered from inside Annie and Clarabelle. Thomas puffed along the rocky ridge with all of his might. Annie and Clarabelle bumped and battered behind him, and the children oohed and ahed. Thomas puffed and huffed with all of his might. He steamed across the rickety bridge. He was going so fast the teacher nearly lost her hat. Thomas splashed under a waterfall. The children laughed and cheered, and the teacher covered her eyes. At last, they could see the station. Thomas was very tired and worried. What will Sir Topham Hatt say? "Phew," said the teacher from inside Annie, just in time for lunch. "It was the best trip ever," cried the children. Sir Topham Hatt wasn't cross with Thomas. He was very happy too. "You have made the children's day very special. You are a really useful engine, Thomas." "Oh, thank you, sir," puffed Thomas proudly. He didn't feel like a little engine anymore.